She even smirked when she said I wasn't invited. But when hours passed and she stopped replying, I checked our shared location. She was at a hotel.
My wife, Clara, had always been a confident person, but lately, that confidence had twisted into something colder, something more distant. She started spending more and more time glued to her phone, smiling at messages she made sure to hide from my view. The easy conversations we used to have were replaced by an unsettling silence. Then one afternoon, she walked into the kitchen with a smirk that just screamed trouble. She announced that her ex had reached out to her. He wanted to get coffee, she said, just to catch up. I looked at her, trying to keep my voice even, and asked why she thought meeting him was a good idea. She just shrugged, saying she was curious, and then she dropped the hammer. You're not invited. It wasn't a request. It was a challenge, a line drawn in the sand. I felt this tight knot form in my chest. I gently reminded her that boundaries are important in a marriage, that some things should be sacred between us. Her response was instant and defensive. She accused me of being controlling, insisting it was just coffee and that I had nothing to worry about. But the smile on her face didn't match her words at all. It was cold and it felt like a warning. The next morning, the pit in my stomach grew deeper. She took extra time getting ready, dressing up in a way I hadn't seen in a long time. She put on a perfume she hadn't touched in months, one she wore when we first started dating. She kept checking her reflection, adjusting her hair, her clothes, lost in her own world. As she was about to leave, she casually told me not to wait up for her. The hours crawled by. No texts, no calls, just radio silence. I tried to distract myself with work, with chores, anything to keep my mind occupied, but it was no use. My thoughts kept returning to that smirk, to the coldness in her eyes. I started to connect the dots, realizing this wasn't a new problem. This had been going on for a long time. I remembered all the nights she came home late, smelling of a cologne that wasn't mine. I remembered the sudden, explosive arguments over nothing that always ended with her storming out of the house. I remembered the emotional chasm that had opened between us, a distance she never bothered to explain. The trust we had built over years had been quietly eroding, and I had been too afraid to face it. My hand trembled as I grabbed my phone and opened our shared location app. I hesitated for a moment, a part of me not wanting to know the truth, but I had to. I tapped her icon, and my heart sank. She was nowhere near any cafe. The little dot representing her was blinking steadily at a hotel across town. It was a place known for being discreet. In that moment, a strange sense of calm washed over me. It was the calm that comes with absolute certainty. The map didn't lie. Her excuses, her reassurances, they were all just empty words. She wasn't catching up over coffee. She was meeting him in a private room, behind closed doors. I just sat there in silence, letting the cold, hard reality sink in. The betrayal was sharp, but the clarity was sharper. And in that clarity, something inside me hardened. I wasn't going to explode in a fit of rage. I wasn't going to have a screaming match. No, I was going to act with precision. I was going to reclaim my self-respect. I started gathering documents, bank statements, old text messages I had tried to ignore, anything that told the real story of our marriage. I packed a small bag and put it in the trunk of my car. Then I made the most important call of my life. I called a lawyer and scheduled an appointment for the next morning. His calm, professional voice was exactly what I needed. He told me I had every right to protect myself. He told me that preparation wasn't petty. It was strength. I thanked him and hung up, feeling a steady resolve I hadn't felt in years. Later that evening, a text from Clara finally came through. It was short, dismissive. Be late. No explanation, no apology, nothing. When she finally walked through the door, the scent of her perfume was gone, replaced by the generic, sterile smell of hotel soap. Her hair was a mess, and for a split second I saw a flicker of guilt in her eyes before she masked it. "Did you eat?" she asked, trying to act like it was just another Tuesday. I looked at her, my voice steady. "We need to talk." Her face tightened immediately. The fake cheerfulness vanished. "What do you mean?" she asked, her tone defensive. I didn't raise my voice. I just said, "I know where you were today, Clara." She froze. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her hands started to shake. She tried to deny it, sputtering about a long lunch with a friend. But the lies crumbled when I showed her the screenshot from the location app. Her excuses fell apart. She claimed she just wanted closure with her ex. I looked her dead in the eye and asked, "Does closure usually require a hotel room?" She tried to blame stress from her job. She tried to blame me, saying I had been distant. She twisted and turned, trying to bend her choices into some kind of misunderstanding. But the truth doesn't bend forever. Eventually, she confessed. She admitted she still had feelings for him, feelings she had never resolved. The words stung, but they also set me free. The last shred of hope I had been clinging to was gone, and in its place was pure, unadulterated truth. I told her I was done. I was done fighting for a marriage she had so clearly stopped respecting. She looked completely shocked, as if she expected me to yell, to cry, to beg her to stay. She started saying we could fix this, that we could go to counseling, but I shook my head. Some things can't be fixed, Clara. Trust isn't a toy you can break and glue back together. Loyalty isn't an optional extra. That's when the tears started. She broke down, sobbing, but her tears couldn't wash away what happened in that hotel room. They couldn't erase the smirk she wore when she told me I wasn't invited. I walked over to my briefcase and pulled out a folder. I handed it to her. It contained the first draft of the divorce papers my lawyer had prepared. She stared at it as if it were written in a foreign language. "Are you serious?" she whispered. I met her gaze. "Seriousness is the only thing left between us." She begged for a second chance. She said it was a terrible mistake, that she didn't want to lose the life we had built together. My voice was quiet but firm. "You should have thought about that before you betrayed it." She asked if we could at least talk about it later, tomorrow, when we were both calmer. "We can talk through our lawyers," I replied. There was nothing left to say. In silence, she went upstairs and packed a bag. The sound of her footsteps on the stairs felt heavier than I'd ever heard them. When she walked out the front door, she didn't look back. And then the house was quiet, but it wasn't a painful, empty silence. It was peaceful. I sat down on the couch and took a deep, long breath. For the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I was free from the constant emotional chaos, the anxiety, the suspicion. I knew healing would take time. I knew there would be hard days ahead. But I also knew, with absolute certainty, that I would heal. I hadn't lost anything worth keeping. I had only let go of someone who had already let go of me long ago. And in that quiet moment, surrounded by the pieces of my old life, I began to build a new one, a life grounded in honesty, not illusions. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've been through something similar, remember that choosing yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories about finding strength in difficult times.